Okay, today I wanted to talk about cashmere because it is a fabric that I love, that I own a lot of, and I know that it can be a little scary or maybe seem a lot high maintenance if it's a fabric that you're not used to. So I just wanted to run over some things that I think would be helpful for you to know if you are new to cashmere or just barely dabbling in it, or just want to know some easier ways to care for it. The first thing to be aware of is cashmere is a fur. So it does come from usually the underbelly of goats from a certain region. Now they can be in regions all over the world, but mainly it is a specific region in China, and that has been an export of China for all of time because the goats are in that area. Since it is a fur, it is a natural fiber, which makes it really breathable and lovely to wear. So it is very soft. I find that I can wear it in really all year round. It's very breathable. So I find it very airy on warmer days, but also can be very warm and great for layering on cooler days. And there are different weights of cashmere. So I do hang my cashmere, and I find unless it's a very heavy knit, I will usually put it on a wooden hanger. And I have no problem with that. I do fold and store my cashmere away, especially the heavier ones in the warmer months. But really the rest of the year, I can bring out and wear a lot of my lighter weights. Cashmere. So I do have a couple from Banana Republic, which is a great place to pick up cashmere. It can be a little bit pricey, but they do have fun colors and different styles. I really like this off the shoulder one that I picked up this year. And then heavier knit is almost like kind of a cotton thickness of a fabric, but still really soft and gives that breathability as well. And so some of my favorite places to pick up cashmere are from Banana Republic and Quince. I also like Nadam. Some other stores do have them as well. And I would say if you are buying cashmere or you see a deal, make sure to check out the composition, because sometimes stores or advertisers will say cashmere sweater and it'll only be like 5 or 10% cashmere, which is fine, but just make sure that that you're getting what you're expecting to pay for that price. So I generally will go for 100% cashmere. I see really no point in blending cashmere because you still have to take care of it the same as 100%, and you might as well get that luxurious softness and that breathability if you are gonna pay those cashmere prices. And like I mentioned, so I do like a velvet hanger for something more lightweight, and so that it doesn't slide off. I also like a wooden hanger. I'll usually do white hangers as opposed to my regular natural wood color hangers for my cashmere, so that I can know it's cashmere, or if my daughters or anyone else goes in my closet to borrow something, they know that these are the cashmere sweaters and they need to be hung back up or in a separate pile. Don't just throw them in the hamper, so that they are treated differently for cleaning purposes. Which leads me into the next topic, and that is caring for it. Now, I did a more in-depth video that I'll link below. You can watch next if you want a step-by-step guide. But just to give you a quick overview, I wanted to cover cashmere care because I think this scares a lot of people off. I've owned cashmere for several years, and it really is easy. As you can see, I hang mine up. It is perfectly fine to hang up. You just have to pay attention to the weight. And then as far as care, it's easy to care for as well. So you can get more gentle cleansers, which I do use. And then I will put them in a laundering bag and put them in on gentle or the quick cycle in my wash. And you just don't put it through the dryer, and then just hang dry it. So whether you use a rack for that, or I will hang them on a lot of my clothing racks or hang them over the banister if you have stairs, it's really not difficult. So it's almost like you would treat maybe a cotton sweater that you wouldn't want to shrink in the dryer. You'd probably hang dry that, or just any fabric that is a little more gentle, or a piece that you wanted to take care of. You wanted it to be fresh and clean, but you don't want to risk like shrinkage or anything like that. Just running it through the gentle cycle is really what I opt for most these days. If it doesn't need the laundering, I will hang it out in the sunshine. That is another great way to freshen up a cardigan or a dress or something that you maybe just wore once and you just want to make sure it's fresh, a little fresher cleaning or a little fresher smelling. And since it is fur, it lets go of the any odors. So just the breeze and sunshine is going to clean it and disinfect it. And then of course, if these two ways scare you, you can always opt for a quick hand wash in a clean sink in your house. And it is very, very easy because you just kind of swirl it around there, and because it is a fur, it's just gonna release the any smells. Now, if you do have a stain, I would say that would be the little more tricky spot where you do need to kind of work it with your fingers. I would say that is the little trickier thing to work with when you are dealing with kind of a higher end fabric. And the last thing I wanted to go over is kind of by use care. And what I mean by that is cashmere is going to peel. And I know that people say, oh, lower end peels more. Well, what does lower end mean? By price? Because some of my pricier stuff peels more. And what I find is actually, if the fabric is a thinner, lighter weight, it's gonna peel more. And that's gonna generally be in the areas it rubs. So in your like armpit area or on your waist if you're walking a lot. The hot pink one that I have is an off the shoulder. So just from the big flap moving a lot, I find a lot of peeling on the underside of that. So I would say excessive rubbing is going to be the thing that's going to make it peel. But you can get a dual head shaver, single head shaver, or a comb, and it's very easy to just get those pieces off. Even this sweater, a lot of times the cashmere kind of has a fuzzy look to it overall, which I like. And then it will get some peeling. So this one has some that I need to take care of, but it's really not noticeable, I find, when you're wearing it in general. I think that if you are a cashmere lover, owner, you're gonna notice it a lot more than anybody else. And I often, unfortunately, probably because I wear them so much, let mine get kind of bad before I tend to that. And then but it's really easy to just clean up. It does take a little time. I do find that going in circles with a dual head is the quickest. Of course, if you can stay on top of it, that isn't gonna get to the point where you do get the balls as much if you shave it more often. But I usually just let it get to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to get to this, and just do it. It's not a big deal. I think even in this sweater, this one needs to be shaved, and you really can't tell overall unless you're looking really close. And another thing I wanted to include in this video is pest prevention. So where I live, I have not had an issue with pests in my cashmere, but I had looked into this and researched it because as my cashmere collection grew, I wanted to make sure that it was safe. So I do use the little cedar balls. I have those in my closet. I also have a couple of the traps that I have just in my closet around, just in case, because I do have, this is just a few of my sweaters up here, but I do have quite a collection, and it would be terrible to have pests get in there, because what happens is one comes in, lays its eggs, and the larvae is the problem that will start eating away at the cashmere, and you will get little holes in it, and nobody wants that. So I think just having a couple traps and some cedar balls to kind of prevent that is key. Also, that's why I like to keep them hung up, because they need airflow. Also, keeping them in a storage that lets the air flow, and keeping the garment clean and like freshened up, not musky or smelly or dirty. So keeping it clean, aired out is definitely the way to go. And I do have sweaters, shirts, dresses, cardigans, and I treat all of my items this way, and it has worked out well, just keeping them hung up, and then the thicker ones in the aired out boxes works really well. And if you do live in an area where this is an issue, I would say getting the 100% cotton coat protectors is probably the best way. You can fit as many as you can in there, and that's going to keep pests out. But definitely making sure it's clean before you get them in there is key, because you don't want to trap a bug in there with all of your cashmere. So let me know what you think on this subject. Do you love cashmere, or is it too high maintenance for you, too much high cost for you? Do you enjoy wearing it, or can you just pass on it? I would love to hear from you. I wanted to thank you so much for dropping in and spending some of your time with me today. I really do appreciate it. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next one.